Welcome back to Manifest with Neville. Before the day has a chance to speak, before circumstances line up to make their usual demands, stop for a moment. This is not an ordinary morning. This is a threshold, a quiet handoff between the person you were yesterday and the version of you that's about to step forward. You didn't stumble onto this by chance. Something has been directing your timing, your focus, your attention, and right now, that same intelligence is turning you inward. Real transformation never starts out there, in the visible world. It starts as a silent decision made deep within, long before anything shifts on the surface. So as you listen, release the urge to push or control. You're not here to repair anything, force anything, or run after anything. You're here to assume, to settle into the feeling of already having what you want, rather than treating it as something far away and uncertain. This moment is open, this moment is receptive, and right now, something remarkable is already making its way toward you, even if you can't see it yet. Each morning, long before the world hands you its list of demands, you quietly settle into a state of being, whether you realize it or not. Most people do this without any awareness at all. They open their eyes and immediately pick up yesterday's leftovers, the same worries, the same unfinished thoughts, the same tired expectations, and they drag all of it into a day that was supposed to be new. But a day never really starts outside of you. It starts with whatever assumption you quietly agree to inside your own mind. The very first feeling you let yourself sink into becomes the template the rest of the day is built on. Wake up assuming friction, delay, or hardship, and life will mirror that mood back with uncomfortable accuracy. Wake up assuming flow, support, and things working in your favor, and the same principle responds just as precisely, only this time in your direction. A morning isn't simply a slice of time, it's a doorway. And whatever you're carrying internally as you walk through that doorway shapes what greets you on the other side. An assumption isn't wishful thinking, and it isn't hope dressed up in nicer language. It's a quiet agreement you make with yourself, a soft but firm inner statement that says, "This is simply how my life goes." The instant that agreement settles in, your mind gets to work, noticing, interpreting, and arranging everything around you to prove it right. That's the real reason two people can live through the exact same day and walk away with completely different stories. Same sunrise, same hours, same list of tasks waiting on the calendar, and yet one person moves through it with ease while the other meets resistance at nearly every turn. It was never about the day itself. It was about the state each of them was standing in when they met it. The outside world is remarkably obedient. It simply mirrors back whatever has already been quietly decided within, faithfully and without argument. When you deliberately choose your morning assumption, you stop bouncing off of life and start steering it. You're essentially deciding ahead of time how the day is going to feel, how things are going to unfold, and how situations are going to resolve themselves. None of this takes strain or white-knuckled effort. If anything, the calmer and more settled the assumption, the more weight it carries. Life doesn't respond to force, it responds to quiet certainty. Notice how different everything feels on a morning when you simply know, without needing proof, that things are going to work out. There's less friction everywhere. Conversations move more naturally. Opportunities show up without you having to chase them down. Even the hard moments lose their sting because you're no longer facing them from fear or doubt. You're meeting them from a place that's already steady. Your mind will try to argue, of course. It will bring up old problems and remind you of past letdowns, hoping you'll take the bait and hand your morning right back over to yesterday. But a morning assumption was never meant to relitigate the past, and it isn't a debate you're obligated to win. It's simply a choice, made deliberately, about the state you're going to occupy right now in this fresh set of hours. The past only keeps its grip for as long as you assume it has to. The moment you choose something new, that grip starts to loosen on its own, quietly, without any dramatic effort required on your part. A strong morning assumption isn't really about predicting specific events. It's about identity. Instead of quietly hoping, "I hope today goes okay," you settle into something closer to, I'm simply someone things go well for. It sounds like a small shift in language, but it changes almost everything, because life has a way of rearranging itself around who you believe yourself to be. As the day moves forward, that assumption starts confirming itself in small, easy-to-miss ways. A conversation that flows more smoothly than expected, a solution that shows up out of nowhere, a sense of calm settling over something that used to feel tense. None of that is coincidence. It's simply the state you chose at sunrise, echoing back to you. Even if nothing on the outside looks different yet, stay loyal to what you've assumed anyway. What's unseen always moves first, long before it shows up in the visible scene. Whatever you quietly establish inside yourself in the morning sets things in motion that ripple through the rest of your day, often in ways you never could have planned for or predicted. Once you really understand that, mornings stop being something you rush through on autopilot. They become intentional, sacred even. You start to realize you're not simply waking up into another day. In a very real sense, the day is waking up into you. So choose with care, choose gently, choose with quiet confidence. Because the assumption you settle into each morning doesn't just color the day that follows. Over time, it becomes the day itself, and the life built from days just like it. Most people spend years believing they're supposed to attract better circumstances, better relationships, better opportunities, simply by wanting them enough. They wait, they visualize, they hope, and then they wonder why nothing seems to move. But life was never designed to answer wanting. Wanting keeps you exactly where you are, reaching for something that stays just out of arm's reach, because wanting quietly confirms that you don't yet have it. Assuming is different. Assuming ends the search. It steps into the feeling of the thing already being true, and from that place, life has no choice but to catch up to what you've already decided. That's the real shift this morning is inviting you into. Not more effort, not more chasing, just a quieter, steadier way of beginning each day, already standing in the state you've been reaching for all along. Life answers to being, not to chasing. What shows up around you was never something you reached out and pulled toward yourself. It's something you've been quietly expressing all along. Think of the outer world as a mirror. It simply hands back the state you keep occupying inside. That's exactly why sheer effort so often fails to create lasting change. You can grind, force a few minutes of positive thinking, or repeat affirmations with no real feeling behind them, and still watch nothing shift. A mirror doesn't respond to what you claim you want out loud. It responds to what you've quietly assumed yourself to be underneath. Once you grasp that you're reflecting rather than attracting, responsibility lands back in your hands, not as guilt, but as genuine power. You no longer have to hunt down outcomes or talk the world into cooperating. You simply shift the inner position you're standing in, and the reflection adjusts on its own. If you keep bumping into resistance, delays, or letdowns, it isn't because life has it out for you. It's because the state being mirrored back is one of struggle or doubt, and the world isn't judging that state, just faithfully reproducing it. Once you see this clearly, frustration tends to melt away, because nothing is actually broken. Everything is working exactly as it's designed to. Reflection isn't something you have to babysit. It simply happens, the way a mirror can't choose what it shows. When you quietly accept yourself as supported, valued, and favored on the inside, your experiences start echoing that acceptance outward. People treat you differently, situations soften, timing improves. None of that is the world changing its mind. It's you changing your state. This is also why trying to fix things from the outside tends to leave you drained. You're working on the reflection instead of the source, steering conversations and reactions, while the underlying assumption stays untouched. The mirror only shifts when the person standing in front of it shifts first. You don't need to script every detail of how things unfold. You simply need to feel your way into a new identity. Quietly ask, who would I be if this were already handled? That calm, that quiet confidence is the state you begin reflecting, and the world eventually rearranges itself to match it. Your mind will push back with, "But what about action?" Action still happens. It just flows from whatever state you occupy. Reflect confidence, and your actions carry confidence. Action becomes an extension of who you're being, not a substitute for it. There's real freedom here. You stop blaming circumstances, stop waiting for permission, stop measuring progress by appearances alone. As this deepens, you become more selective about which states you entertain, gently redirecting a mood rather than wrestling with it. You're not here to attract a better life someday. You're here to reflect fulfillment now and let the mirror do the rest. One of the mind's sneakiest traps is the belief that you need proof before you're allowed to feel certain. Most of us are quietly trained to wait for a sign or a result before relaxing into confidence. But that's not how life works. The sequence never changes. Decision first, proof after. Flip that order and everything slows. Fulfillment starts to feel far away. A real decision isn't a loud announcement. It's a quiet conclusion you settle into internally the moment you stop asking whether something will happen and simply accept inside that it's already settled. From there, your inner dialogue shifts, your reactions shift, your expectations shift, and without noticing it, you start moving through your day like someone who already knows the ending. Waiting for proof keeps you anchored in uncertainty. It tells life the state hasn't been accepted yet, so life keeps that outcome at arm's length. That's not punishment, it's precision. Life can only confirm what you've already agreed to internally. The moment you decide first, the nervous urge to check, worry, or micromanage begins to fade. You stop scanning for reassurance and start carrying a quiet knowing that needs no reinforcement. Calm, grounded, genuinely magnetic. Your mind may insist you be realistic or wait until you're sure, but certainty was never built from facts. It's built from assumption. Facts are simply reflections of assumptions you made in the past, and creating something new means stepping past what's currently visible. That's exactly why deciding with real conviction can feel uncomfortable at first. You're stepping out of sync with appearances and into sync with intention. The discomfort doesn't last. Once the decision settles, the body relaxes, the tension eases, and life quietly starts rearranging itself around the new conclusion. Proof doesn't need to rush in immediately. What's unseen always moves first. Conversations line up, opportunities take shape, timing shifts in your favor, and pieces fall into place in ways you never could have planned logically. Then, almost casually, the proof appears, not as a strained-for miracle, but as a natural outcome. If you catch yourself hunting for signs, gently return to the decision itself. Signs are echoes, not causes. The cause is always the inner agreement you made. Reaffirm it quietly, with calm certainty rather than force. A genuine decision is final. It doesn't argue with doubt, it simply outgrows it. Doubt may still pass through your mind, but it no longer defines your state. You're not suppressing uncertainty, you're standing in something deeper. Living this way changes your relationship with time. What once felt like a heavy delay stops feeling heavy because you trust the unfolding. You've already accepted the ending. That trust isn't passive, it's active alignment. Once you understand that proof follows decision, you stop postponing your own peace and bargaining with life for better terms. You settle inwardly, and life mirrors that settlement back. Decide first. Let life catch up. Once a decision is truly made, the outcome stops being a question. It simply becomes a matter of when it will appear. Most people treat gratitude as a reaction, something felt only after good things happen. But real gratitude runs deeper than that. It isn't a response to an event, it's a state you live in. At its core, gratitude is the quiet feeling that nothing is missing, that what you've wanted is already fulfilled and settled within you. Because life mirrors whatever state you're in, that feeling of completion becomes the actual cause behind the results you eventually see. Feeling grateful before evidence shows up isn't pretending. You're occupying the emotional position of fulfillment, standing in the ending of the experience rather than the waiting room of the process. That's why gratitude works so well. It leaves no room for doubt or struggle, and you genuinely can't be grateful and desperately searching at the same time. Once gratitude becomes natural, the inner tension around wanting dissolves. No urgency, no constant checking in, no asking when this will happen, because gratitude quietly implies it already has. That silent implication speaks louder to life than any affirmation ever could. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to sufficiency, not through force, but through recognition. And as your attention changes, your experience follows. What you acknowledge inside begins multiplying outside. This doesn't mean walking around hyped up or relentlessly upbeat. Real gratitude is usually calm and steady. It feels less like excitement and more like quiet relief. It feels like settling into something secure. It feels like finally exhaling after holding your breath far too long. And this is the feeling life responds to most consistently. When gratitude is genuinely present, you stop trying to control how things happen. You trust the unfolding. You let timing work in your favor instead of forcing it. This kind of surrender isn't weakness, it's alignment. It signals that you're no longer standing in opposition to your own desire. If the mind drags up doubts or reminders of what's still missing, gratitude gently redirects it. You don't argue with the thought or wrestle it into submission. You simply return, again and again, to the feeling that it is already done. Over time, that feeling stabilizes, and the outer world starts echoing it back, subtly at first, then unmistakably. Gratitude also reshapes identity itself. You stop seeing yourself as someone hoping for change and start living as someone who already exists in completion. That shift touches how you speak, how you carry yourself, how you respond to things. Other people feel it. Situations respond to it. Life opens around it. It's worth understanding that gratitude isn't about pretending challenges don't exist. It's about choosing the final outcome over the temporary appearance in front of you. You can acknowledge what's visible without handing it any authority over your inner state, which stays anchored in fulfillment regardless. As gratitude deepens, manifesting stops feeling like work. You're no longer trying to make something happen. You're simply allowing what you've already accepted to appear. That's why gratitude tends to produce results faster than sheer effort ever could. It removes resistance entirely. Living in gratitude means you stop chasing outcomes and start receiving confirmations instead. Life meets you exactly where you are, and where you are is already complete. Gratitude isn't the reward waiting at the end of the journey, it's the doorway. Step into it, and the rest of the world follows. Every inner shift starts with a decision, but it's persistence that lets that decision take root and eventually become visible. Plenty of people assume something once, feel a flicker of hope, and then abandon the state the moment the outside world doesn't immediately reflect it back. But life doesn't respond to a passing mood. It responds to whatever state you consistently return to. Persistence here isn't about forcing belief or white-knuckling past doubt. It's a gentle loyalty to the assumption you've chosen, even when the appearances in front of you suggest otherwise. You're not fighting the world, you're simply refusing to let a temporary reflection redefine your inner position. That quiet steadiness is what actually produces results. The outer world always runs slightly behind. It reflects yesterday's assumptions, not today's. That lag isn't a flaw in the system. It's the bridge between what you've accepted internally and what eventually shows up as outer confirmation. Once you understand this, you stop reading delay as failure. Instead, you recognize it as proof that a shift has already happened and is simply making its way to the surface. As you persist in an assumption, your inner conversations start to change. You stop reacting emotionally to every sign or absence of a sign and stay anchored instead. That anchoring creates coherence between your thoughts, feelings, and expectations, and coherence is genuinely powerful. Doubt may still show up from time to time, but persistence means you don't give it a place to live. You notice it and then quietly return to the assumption you've already chosen. Over time, that assumption stops feeling like something you're actively doing and starts feeling like simply who you are. That's the moment manifestation becomes inevitable. Life can't indefinitely contradict a stable inner state. The mirror has to adjust eventually. People respond differently. Circumstances shift. Opportunities show up, often feeling perfectly ordinary rather than dramatic, simply aligned. Persistence also protects you from burning out emotionally. Instead of riding a roller coaster of highs and lows, you stay centered. You stop measuring your progress hour by hour or day by day, and instead trust the process because you understand the principle running underneath it. So many people abandon their assumption at exactly the wrong moment, right before it's about to harden into fact. They peak too soon. They check in too often. And in doing so, they step right back into uncertainty. Persistence means you stop checking and start simply knowing. That knowing isn't loud, and it doesn't need constant reassurance. It's calm, settled, and patient. And patience here isn't the same as waiting around. It's confidence in the inevitability of the outcome. As persistence deepens, effort naturally falls away. You are no longer repeating affirmations just to convince yourself of something. You simply return to the feeling of completion whenever your attention drifts elsewhere. And that return is enough on its own. Eventually, the assumption becomes your default setting. And once that happens, the outer world genuinely has no choice but to conform to it. What was once only imagined becomes something you actually experience. What was once merely assumed becomes something you can see. Persistence is the quiet force behind every real transformation. Not intensity, not struggle, just loyalty to the inner truth you've already chosen. Stay faithful, stay calm, and let life reveal what's already been decided within you. Now take a moment and simply be still. Notice that nothing needs to be added here. Nothing needs to be proven. You've already chosen a new inner position, and that choice alone has set unseen forces into motion. From this state, life responds naturally. Doors open without a fight, answers arrive without a search, and what once felt delayed now moves with ease. Carry this feeling with you as you step into the rest of your day. Let it shape your thoughts, your tone, your expectations, not with tension, but with calm certainty. You don't need to watch the clock. You don't need to go hunting for signs. The assumption has been made, and life has already heard you. Today is aligned. Today is supported. And what you've quietly accepted within is now on its way to becoming visible without. It is done. Thank you for giving yourself this space of stillness today. Thank you for choosing awareness over worry, and for beginning your day from a place of genuine inner power. If this resonated with you, carry it forward with you, and come back to it any time you need to realign. Remember, the state you occupy within is always quietly creating the world you experience around you. This has been Manifest with Neville. Have a beautiful day.